I'm making this video right now. I'm going to tell you right now, I do not remember toys being this expensive. Now, we're going to be talking about collector's items and kind of correlation between, some of these, things that Hasbro is making or crowdfunding for when it comes to Star Wars stuff, and their correlation with how popular they are and how much they're kind of getting pushed up, for Lucasfilm and Disney, and just kind of seeing what's successful and what's not. I looked through this stuff, and I remember being a little kid playing with Star Wars toys. I mean, hell, I got some, in my background just kind of show you guys. Man, I remember when these things were really cheap, like maybe $5, $6, $7. Not the, I mean, there's G.I. Joe stuff in here that's like $300. It's like, oh my God, man. I mean, like, we were talking about disposable income when it comes to Diablo Immortal and people spending thousands of dollars in a game that doesn't matter. But seeing what HasLab is pushing out there for people to crowdfund, man, I would not be spending this much money. But again, there might be collectors out there that want this stuff, that are just dying for it. I know there's a lot of people out there that love to collect these things and have them on display. I mean, I got some stuff in the background as well. I would say they're really not that expensive stuff. I got like just a Revan action figure. I got this Mandalorian toy that I bought that for Tony for her birthday, which was a couple of days ago. She didn't even play with it. Like, so I was like, well, I guess I'll keep it down here. She didn't want to play with it, so I might as well display it. But it is funny to know that we're going to be getting into this thing, that I see a lot of traction getting built up on Twitter, and kind of get into this correlation of what's successful. What is something that Hasbro is wanting to build up and make, and that will get attention and people will buy, to what, Disney Star Wars is trying to prop up. It doesn't, some of the stuff doesn't have a correlation. We'll kind of talk about a little bit of the Rise of Skywalker and the Last Jedi, and some of the action figures that are still sitting on store shelves, and even, looking stuff up on Hasbro's website and seeing what they're selling. There's not a huge calling out there for some of the Disney stuff that they've been pushing out. Now, don't get me wrong, Mandalorian's a big seller, and we'll kind of get into that. But that goes into good character development, good storyline. But we get into the sequel trilogy, there's not a whole lot of stuff that Hasbro is wanting to push out there when it comes to toys for the sequel trilogy. So let's get into this. Now, the main topic of today is we're going to be getting into this right here, which is Reva's lightsaber. They're trying to, crowdfund, trying to get people to, fund this thing as a project to kind of get people invested in wanting to get this. Now, Obi-Wan Kenobi being the newest series, the newest, thing that Disney is wanting to push out. You would think with the amount of hype they were building for Reva as a character, this new character but was pushed into Obi-Wan Kenobi, you would think that a lot of people, with the amount of praise that Reva was getting on social media, you would think that this thing would be crowdfunded day one, no big deal. But it's funny to know that you can see on this page that it's sitting right next to a G.I. Joe action figure. I'm gonna call it an action figure. I don't know if it's a collectible or not, but this $300 collectible apparently did not take so much time at all to crowdfund. We'll actually click on this and show you guys exactly what's going on. So I guess the targeted amount of people to fund this thing is about 8,000. That was their target. Apparently once that hits that target amount, it'll be getting shipped out, and they'll actually make and create this action figure. Well, I mean, they got well over 8,000 apparently within just an hour, a few hours, a day or so. I mean, look at this, crowdfunding ends in 46 days. So, I mean, they've already reached this thing for a G.I. Joe. Now, I mean, like I said, I'm 33 years old. I'm a grown-ass man. I don't play with toys, and I don't remember a whole lot of playing with G.I. Joe. I remember I had some G.I. Joe characters, but man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with G.I. Joe, with, I mean, the really piss poor movies that have been coming out. Even The Rock was trying to freshen up that franchise, but it just didn't go too well. But the cartoons and stuff like that are still apparently banging out there, into the fact where, this G.I. Joe toy selling, or toy collector's item, whatever you want to call it, selling for $300. That there's that many people, over 10,000 people paid $300 to crowdfund this thing. That is impressive. Again, in comparison to Star Wars, where Star Wars bought by Disney, you have the sequel trilogy, you have The Mandalorian, you have The Bad Batch, you have The Clone Wars, you have Rebels, you have the newest Obi-Wan Kenobi series. The simple fact that you don't really have, I mean, besides maybe some of the classic shows, maybe some newer G.I. Joe cartoons, I mean, this is incredible to see that they were able to crowdfund this, and so quickly, and still with this amount of days left to crowdfund this thing. So Yeah, man. I mean, that's incredible to see. That's incredible to see from G.I. Joe. Again, a franchise that I have not heard about so much. I mean, especially when I was a little kid, yes, but I mean, ever since being a grown ass man, I really haven't been paying attention to GI Joe. But there must be a lot of GI Joe fans out there. Now we come over to Reva's lightsaber, and this is the craziest thing. Like, I don't know how in the world you can justify $500 for this thing. Now, it's a replica lightsaber. I know there's a lot of people out there that collect these things, from, Anakin Skywalker, Mace Windu, Yoda, Obi-Wan Kenobi, all this stuff. There's a lot of, lightsabers out there that people collect. I would actually love to have, like, a Revan. I mean, I know Revan's, like, one of the most fan favorite, Star Wars characters out there. I would love to have a replica Revan, thing. But I also understand, too, that it's going to cost $100, several $100 to get. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not spending that much money. But the funny thing is looking at their push for Reva's, the third sister lightsaber, you're really not seeing the same interaction that this G.I. Joe got. This G.I. Joe, again, has several days to complete the crowdfunding, and they were able to complete it like within just a few hours. With Reva's lightsaber, you still have about 12 days left to crowdfund this thing to get it up. Now, I find this very interesting because for so much that Disney was wanting to push out this new character and how much she was just getting built up, Reva as a character was getting built up so much on social media, you're not seeing that same interaction when it comes to crowdfunding this lightsaber to get made. Now, the funny thing is a lot of people have been kind of pointing out is that most of the people that, tout and praise, some characters that Disney are wanting to push out, they might praise them on social media, but when it comes to actually supporting that character and actually creating a revenue for that character, you don't see it so much at all. And we're kind of seeing it right here with not even reaching the halfway marker to 5,000 as its target. But again, man, $500. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it takes to make these toys. Again, like I said, when I was a little kid, I remember when Star Wars action figures were like $5, $6, $7, maybe $8. Did not cost a whole lot at all. But to see this at $500, I don't know how you make that argument of going, yeah, that's a good price to pay. Again, maybe it is. I don't know. But also when it comes to, again, Disney is wanting to push these characters out there and make them popular. And again, like I said, they might be popular on social media, but when it comes to actually making money for Hasbro as a company, they're not seeing that same correlation by any means. Now, again, this is actually not the first, Star Wars toy to actually not be crowdfunded. There's some crazy stuff on here like Galactus. That's badass. That's cool. You have, a Sentinel. That's cool. Apparently, you had Jabba's barge. That looks badass and cool. But one of the things that actually did not get crowdfunded as well is apparently this Black Series Rancor. I don't know exactly what the reason is behind this not getting crowdfunded. I mean, it looks somewhat decent as an action figure, but apparently just didn't make its mark. It was short by about 400, a little bit more than 400 people that actually, make its mark of 9,000. So if Reva's, lightsaber doesn't make the 5,000, it's not going to be the first one to not make it. But it is interesting to see that Reva, for how much she got pushed up from Disney as pushing this character out there, you're seeing a big social media, attraction apparently to this character. You're not seeing that in sales of toys or action figures, especially at least when it comes to this collector's item. But it is also very important to kind of criticize as well that it is odd to know that the Rancor did not get crowdfunded as well, coming from the classic, the classic trilogy, the original trilogy, and it did not get crowdfunded. So it is kind of just an odd thing to see of just how much this character of Reva got built up so much. But when it comes to money, actually putting money down to support a character and getting their products, getting their, toys, collectors, whatever it is, you're not seeing that same correlation. And I've been told that, most of the, people that praise this stuff don't actually, spend their money in support of it. So that is kind of an interesting thing to see, at least when it comes to correlation between support and actually not getting the support when it comes to actually supporting the items for that character. I did want to kind of get into this as like the last thing as well. I did want to look up some of the Hasbro stuff that they sell on their website. And again, it's a lot of, classic stuff. You do have some of the sequel trilogy, but I would say not compared to original trilogy, prequel, you have Clone Wars stuff in here, but you have The Mandalorian as well. So again, like I said, Disney might not have a whole lot of success when it comes to toys throughout the sequel trilogy, but when it comes to toys through The Mandalorian and Rebels and the Bad Batch, they're doing a really good job of being able to sell them. And again, the funny thing is even right here, you have the second sister from Jedi Fallen Order. So it's not like they're not selling, the Inquisitors, I guess, from the I guess not the canon. I can't not the expanded universe, but at least from the original trilogy or oh god, whatever the hell it's called, canon stuff. They do have this on here, so they do have Inquisitor stuff on here, but it's a second sister. So I'm just I went through some of this stuff. You do see sequel stuff, but clearly not enough on here to I mean, compared to sequel, comparing the sequel trilogy to the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, Clone Wars. I mean, you even have stuff on here from Knights of the Old Republic, the Old Republic with Shea Vizsla on here. You have Black Chrysanthemum. This is actually, I don't know if this expanded universe or not, the Stormtrooper with a lightsaber. I don't know the whole story behind that. I'm not too caught up on comic book stuff, but you do have a good amount of characters in here that some Disney has created, but some Disney has not, coming from George Lucas. And you're not seeing that great a good comparison between stuff that people support on social media to what actually is getting sold on here. People might praise the sequel trilogy, day in, day out, but when it comes to Hasbro making money off the sequel trilogy, when it comes to toys, that's not the case whatsoever. People are having a lot of love for the original, for prequel, so for Clone Wars, even The Mandalorian, people are having love for that stuff. But when it comes to Disney wanting to push Reva as a character, and that is very mixed feelings on her character in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, it is interesting to see the different interaction when it comes to sales. That, again, I don't know. I do not understand this. $200, over $250 to get Rey Skywalker's lightsaber. Now that's funny to see to see this price tag, over $250 to get the Rey Skywalker lightsaber. Then you come over here, $500 for Reva. Like, I would think that this would be more expensive because of how much of a popular character she is for the sequel trilogy fans. But when you come over here, $500 are you out of your mind? Hell no, I wouldn't be spending that much. So anyway, just wanted to bring this topic up, kind of give you guys my discussion about it. I don't know how in the world, if this will actually make its target. Again, when it comes to people that bolster different things that Disney, Lucasfilm makes, when it comes to Star Wars on social media, does not have a great correlation when it comes to actual products that are sold by Hasbro that makes dedicated toys for the Star Wars franchise. So just wanted to give you guys my opinion about it. I don't know if it's going to be making its target and being sold, but again, you're seeing that correlation between, I guess, really Star Wars wanting to prop this character up, but when it comes to fan bases that have been talking so much about Reva and just love her as a character, but when it comes to the product, you're not seeing that same love at all compared to what social media is doing. So let me in the comments below, what do you guys think about it? Love to know. And let me ask you this. Do you guys remember when Star Wars toys were actually cheap and not the expensive POSs that they are now? Let me in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please have a great rest of the day. Look forward to talking to you guys all next time.